Hey gang, it's Dr. Fred. This is TMT. And what are you doing? Going, where's the ocean, man? Where's the cliff? I don't even pay attention to what you're saying. I just love the background. Hey, well, you know what? It's foggy down by the beach. So I'm hanging out in my kitchen. See, we got the little Buddha thing, got my alkalinized, mineralized water in the background, a little bit of kitchen. So here we go. So, I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, and I'm going through the study group, the You're More Powerful study group right here tonight. It's at 7 o'clock Pacific time. And we're going to go through the 6-step healed system. And it's honor God within yourself. So I was thinking, man, I was on the elliptical this morning because we're spirit, mind, body, right? I was going through body this morning. I'm like, what the heck am I going to talk about? Boom. And so it really hit me. Here's what it is. What's H? Honor God within ourselves. So here's one of the things I talk about in the book. What's false about self-improvement? What's false about self-improvement? I'm going to repeat it again because there's a multi-billion-dollar industry called self-improvement. People pride themselves, yeah, man, I'm into self-improvement. I'm always improving myself. I read this book. And so you're like, man, I'm reading this cool book. Have you ever heard of it? This. Oh, yeah, I read this book. And they can speak the language and they can do that. But the question is, what do we apply? It doesn't matter what we know and knowledge is what are we experiencing in our life? What are we applying? And the whole premise of self-improvement means that there's something about ourselves that's imperfect, that we have faults, that we have to improve. So if we always know we get what we focus on, what does self-improvement focus on? Well, it focuses on faults. It means, you know what? I have this in my life. This is a problem. Here's something wrong with me. I need to improve this. So what do? We put tons of focus on this. And we do these actions, and then I improve myself. And then, okay, now I'm going to go to the next thing I have to improve. Now I'm going to improve this. So what do we focus on? Now we focus on this. And what happens to this? This starts to slide. So while I'm fixing this, like, oh, crap, now I got to lift this up. Now I got to focus on this. And then I got this, and then I got this. And I'm always trying to improve myself when what's the whole fault, in my opinion, of that premise? That we're not created in his likeness and image. It says Genesis 1:27. Genesis. What's Genesis mean? The creation. What's God created us, right? In his likeness and image. Now, I was raised Catholic. I'm not dogging on Catholicism. And here was just my impression. You may have gotten a different impression that we're created in his likeness and image, but we're created in sin. So that means God, who is non-judgmental, unconditionally loving, eternal peace, right? He knows every hair on our head. He knows the sins before we commit them, and we're already forgiven even before we commit them. So we come to earth in this body. We're imperfect. So right now, right there, we have a spiritual self-esteem, which that never made sense because how can we be created in his likeness and image and have all these faults? So what we're saying is God that's non-judgmental, eternally peaceful, totally accepting, and we're his children. Then he's going to put us on earth, give us free will, and based on the choices we make, then he's going to send us to hell for eternity. So that doesn't make sense. How could totally forgiving and then damnation for eternity, does that seem like a contradiction? So what do we need? We need religion. We need to go to, as a kid, I go to confession every Saturday. And I'm not saying this is wrong because forgiveness is created for humans because we need to friggin' let go of our stuff. We need to get past our past because our P-A-S-T, past, has passed, P-A-S-S-E-D. And then we bring our past into our present. We project it in the future. That's another whole story. That's an L, right? And so we live in pain. Why do you think this was created? Because I already been through the pain. So you know what? When I went through this system, man, it completely changed my perspective. I got rid of that spiritual self-esteem problem, and then we can move on. So the bottom line is I go to confession. I'd be a kid, and I'm like, this is dumb. So fine. My parents make me go, what do we do? Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. My last confession was, I don't know, what's today? Saturday? It was last Saturday. So and then whatever you say after that, well, what'd you do? Well, I disobeyed my mother and father. Got it. Hey, Cecilia. Hey, David. Hey, John. How's it going? Be on my laptop. I'm not having somebody else film this. I can actually see you guys now. Thank you so much for joining us every week. So I disobeyed my mother and father. And he would say, now here's what I wasn't saying. Well, how? He didn't never ask, how did you disobey your mother and father? You just say 3 Our Fathers and 3 Hail Marys. Great, great, great. I go out, this is dumb. Because what didn't I tell you? Well, I was supposed to be taking a nap, and I climbed out the window and ran and played with my friends. I was playing with matches. My mom, told me never play with matches, but I guess kids that play with fire, they're psychopaths or something. I don't know. I read something like that. So, hey, sorry. What else did I do? Well, I stole a sweet tart out of the local general store, and then, so this is my deal. Like, I always saw a contradiction in that. So how could a God that creates us perfectly and all these things, and then saying, this is the one imperfection? So you mean I keep the planets in alignment? We rotate around the sun. The whole universe is a magnet. We see nature, how nature is perfectly organized. But the one thing that is created an imperfection is us. So what's that create a need for? Self-improvement. The whole thing is an illusion. Why? Because what you're denying is a perfect God created us in imperfection. When in reality, we're a spirit on a human journey here to fulfill a soul purpose, to contribute to other people. So our job, we have one responsibility, just one. That's all, just one. It's not to improve ourselves, right? It's not to become here. Well, if you want to do this, you have to become this person. Hey, Josh, how's it going? We have to become this person. Guess what? Knowing our own perfection and experience and living that is not becoming, it's remembering. It's remembering what we already know. The problem is we're immersed in heaven, but when you're in your light, you don't know your light. So what do we have to do? We have to go into the darkness, look back, see the light, go, wow, there's light over there. The problem is I'm in the dark and it sucks over here because I was taught I'm a sinner. I taught all this. I need self-improvement. I need to do all this because I am imperfect. When in reality, I just need to remember. But when you look back at the light, you're like, oh yeah, I was in the light. So people want to get to heaven when we're immersed in heaven, because guess what heaven is? Heaven is a consciousness. It's a consciousness. Is it a place up in the sky, or really is it all around us? Do we have angels all around us? Are they in heaven? So here's a perspective. My question is, does what you believe getting you what you want in life? Does what you believe leading you toward your soul purpose, hey Luciano, toward your soul purpose, or is it away from your soul purpose? So if all this is true, that God is in us, and we are in God, and we are one with God, and God is everywhere, then our knowledge, our perspective, and our perception can be at a much higher consciousness when we realize our only one responsibility, our soul, S-O-L-E, purpose, is to know ourselves of who we really are and fulfill our soul, S-U-L, purpose. That's the most fulfilling life. That is, you are more powerful than you think. You have that power. So to think of God create us in perfection, put us down here, give us free will, and send us hell, that's not fair. That's like a God that likes to play vindictive games. Well, that's not the God that I believe that we're worshiping, and that's not the God that I believe, personally believe, that created us to come here and fulfill a soul purpose to contribute to others. Now, if we live what we believe, what would be a more empowering belief? That I need to become, or that I need to remember, that I can remember who I already am, breathe that into my body, because we're spirit, mind, body. Body is our physical manifestation. You have to experience, right? We look at God and Jesus. God is knowledge and wisdom. Jesus was experience. He was, all the spiritual masters called to cite Jesus as Christ consciousness. So you have Jesus Christ. Was Christ his last name, or was Christ a consciousness? And he said, you can do all these things and greater. What's that mean? That we have, hey, Jonathan, Christ consciousness that's already in us, because he came to remind us of who we are. Now, this isn't religion. This is choosing one of the highest master, right? All other spiritual masters call him the Christ. What's the Christ? Christ is a consciousness, and that consciousness is in us. Wow. Man, how about that? So can we be reminded? Yeah, what spiritual teacher do you choose? Great. Whoever comes in your path. Could it be Bruce Lipton, a quantum physicist? Could it be Michael Beckwith? Could it be Neil Donald Walsh? Could it be Marianne Williamson? Is it Christ? So the thing is, where are we and who will we use to be reminded? That's it. So, hey, Tabor, what's going on? So as I see you guys coming on, we're joining together in unity, because spirituality is about the innate in us, sees the innate in other people, and sees the innate that when we fulfill that soul purpose, man, that is the best life. So as you read books, as you listen to videos, or you watch YouTube, what we're doing is we're not saying, hey, these people know something we don't know. What they're doing is they're being an example of the knowledge that we have inside us. And now we take that and we apply it in our life, because knowledge becomes wisdom through experience. That's why we're in a body. We're meant to experience spirit, heart, mind, body. We live it. Then we can teach others. So, wow. So here's what we do, man. What do we do? Number one, don't take yourself so friggin' seriously. How about that one? How about if we laugh, if we have joy a little bit more? Yes, we can read books. Hey, if this book resonates with you, all the power to you. There's a whole bunch of them. This is just a very unique system. And, so when we look at that, let's not take ourselves too seriously. Let's find the joy in what we can think are imperfections, and actually find perfection, because everything that we do gives us courage, skill, or faith. And let's celebrate our life. Let's look at the things that many people call mistakes and just call it part of our human journey. And let's have joy in the evolution of our consciousness, because heaven is not a destination. We're already immersed in it. Heaven is a consciousness. So let's live in that. And really the main premise is you are perfectly amazing already. So there you go, gang. I'm going to go through this tonight, 7 o'clock Pacific time. We're going to go through this in much more detail. It will be taped and on there. So if you can't make it live, check back on Facebook on Fred DiDomenico, Elite Coaching, or You Are More Powerful. And let's be on this journey together. I don't know anything that we all already don't know. Hey, if I can remind you of who you are, and you can remind me and reflect that back, please share this around the world. I love your comments. Thank you so much. Love you guys unconditionally. And let's fulfill our soul purpose. Thank you. Love you.